Mr. Greg.
Well, Mr. Jason,
Mr. Greg.
Mr. Jason,
Mr. Greg.
what you talk about?
You tell me what you talking about, and where are we going today?
We gonna talk with Mr. Jack Wingate.
What?
What you say?
What you said?
We are automating activities to prevent wasting time.
What?
Let's start. Will we wonder why we weren't willfully winning without Wingate?
What you said?
No, what you said.
Say it again,
What
Mr. Greg.
Will we wonder why we weren't willfully winning without Wingate?
Ooh, wow.
Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes podcast.
Hey, Craig, this year I got some crazy growth goals for my agency, and actually I've been talking to a few other agents. They got some crazy growth goals. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing that's just crushing it in your agency right now?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of internet data leads through a company called EverQuote, and they're actually one of our sponsors.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, part of the Accelerated Growth Program, which includes having your own consultant that's going to go over your results, and it's positioned to make those leads cost less so that you have lower acquisition costs. It makes it totally doable.
Awesome. And so what has been your favorite parts about it so far?
I like the visibility into the results, and being able to compare what the numbers that they get on their side with the numbers that I get on my side, and seeing that they mesh up. So we know that the data is correct, and that we're actually in a cost per policy or cost per sale that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
They make it real easy to track. And you know what? Guess what? They gave us a deal to offer to all of the insurance dudes and dudettes out there.
Oh, I got to know about this.
Yeah, all you need to do is go to go.everquote.com/insurance dudes. That's go.everquote.com/insurance dudes.
And they give all the insurance dudes out there a killer price on this. So I'm signing up. Boom!
That's what we do. We just go boom. Can we get a
Boom!
boom?
What up, Jack?
Hello, Jack.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Great. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Trying to knock out some of the tedious items of the day, like when you post a blog article, the other 3 hours it takes to post them all to social media appropriately. I mean, good Lord.
There's a virtual assistant for that.
Yes. And it's funny because what I'm doing right now is I'm like, okay, because I do it very meticulously. And so I'm like, I'm going through and sort of recording. This is what I do. You know, virtual assistants are awesome. It's like they're a 2-year-old. You have to walk them through quickly. So anyways.
It's a stress. Like, honestly, like I use virtual assistants, and there is a stress to, like, okay, I have to write out this list, and it's got to, yeah, it's like, it's incredible how detailed you have to be.
Oh, most definitely.
But
yeah,
once
go
you
ahead.
once you create that system, then it's
good.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you'll hear, I mean, where are you guys at?
I am in Arizona and
California.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys, from what I've seen, West Coast is at least 18 months ahead of us over on this side of the world when it comes to just technology and stuff, and implementation. So I'll talk to agency owners around here, and they think that a VA is just a magic bullet if you can do it. And I'm like, nah, I mean, it's work. I mean,
It's
you
work.
put it in, so
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. You put in the time, and it's awesome. If you don't, it can be a nightmare.
Yeah, it amplifies the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. It's like scaling without the right processes. You get, as one of our previous guests said, you get scaled chaos, and you don't want scaled chaos.
No.
Yeah, I mean, crap in, crap out, right?
Yeah. That's another great quote there. We'll quote you on that.
Let's just keep them coming, man.
Keep 'em coming. Keep 'em coming.
Jack, two
Yeah.
things. One, that is a strong beard.
Thank you.
That is
very
awesome. Is that
strong.
natural? The gray?
Yes.
You didn't put the gray in there.
Yeah. I can't fit it in the logo though. So, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I'm working on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He got distracted over there. So
I'm so sorry.
that's cool. So the first thing that we ask everybody, Jack, is what was your first concert? And you got to go far back, the very first one, even if it was Barney when you were in kindergarten.
Yeah. So I am the baby of my family. So I'm 45 right now. My sister is 18 years older than I am. My brother's 12 years older than I am. So realistically, I was an only child. So my parents would take me with their friends to their concerts. So we're going to go, I believe it was either Oak Ridge Boys or Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. I can't remember which one.
Yes.
5 years old, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But as my own adult, I haven't been to a lot of concerts, but I'd probably say probably in college, Dave Matthews was probably one of the first
We've
ones.
gotten that a lot.
Yeah.
We have gotten that a lot.
Dude, I mean,
Incredible.
you know, people, whatever, they're great musicians and they put on a good
100%.
show and yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Jack, thank you for coming on the show. I know we're doing the speed round and really appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah,
I think that's something he had to jump to. But if you could you just walk us through how, like, take us back, how you got into the insurance business, what led you to it, to where you are today, and what's going on specifically in your world?
Yeah. So oddly enough, I attended Appalachian State University, which they have an insurance department there.
Wow.
And I guess I wanted to be like a stockbroker. I guess that was what I thought I wanted to do. So I majored in finance and I got a double in risk management insurance just because it was 2 classes.
There you go.
Got out of college and really went to work for a company. We bought and sold mainframe computer hardware. Mainframe stuff. Nice. Telemarketing. Yeah, I had some buddies who were working at North Carolina Farm Bureau. So I'm not sure out there how the Farm Bureau model is, but it's captive, but it's very state specific. So started off there. Realistically, the funny story there was I'd let my auto insurance lapse. And I went by to see my agent, who was a fraternity brother of mine. And he was like, man, what you doing? How you liking your work? It's like, I hate it. He said, man, you need to talk to my brother-in-law. He's got a position open at Farm Bureau. Went, interviewed. The rest is history. I was there for 2 years. And at Farm Bureau around here, you start making really, really good money. After about year 2. I mean, it's the best place to train. I mean, they give you a book of business, if you will. So, I mean, you got a built-in salary. So I stayed there for 2 years, you know, won the trips, whatever that they put out there, and realized that I'm not good at being someone's employee, even though we were independent contractors. So that's when I started All Choice. So I started insurance career 2002, and I started, was it 2002? Yeah, 2002, and then 2004. Yeah, 2004 was when I started All Choice. From scratch, zero money. It was myself, an original partner. He's not with us anymore. We bought him out a while back, a long time ago. I do have another business partner who was actually my manager at Farm Bureau. He left there after I left, and I let him buy in. So yeah, started All Choice 2004, really nothing. We're not a niche. Niche is really in vogue right now. We are a generalist. I mean, we're 60% commercial, probably 40% personal lines. And it's small commercial. We do a lot of apartment buildings. We insure a lot of roofs, if you will. We're big. We have a lot of contractors. And then our personal lines client is realistically, it's upper middle up type of clientele. We're not the place to come in and pay by cash. Gotcha. I don't even accept payments in any of my offices anymore. Like I've gone away from that. I don't want stuff. We still have some people that drop some stuff off, but as a general rule, I don't want that. And realistically, man, the journey's been, it's slow the first 5 years and then it ramps up. And the funny thing is, the whole time I've been doing this, I started optimizing our website probably over a decade ago. Okay. Just because around here, I talked to a health insurance guy for Blue Cross and Blue Shield, And he was like, yeah, our biggest agent, all he does is online. I'm like, what? And so at that point in time, I took our website from a picture to actually writing content. So when people talk about SEO, it's not a magic bullet. It's decades worth of work. But, over that ride, I think about 6 years ago, I looked at and started using Infusionsoft as a CRM.
Yeah.
Back then, I could not make the ROI work. So I used it for probably 6 months to 8 months. And I was just like, it's too much work, too much double entry. At that time, I mean, you're counting dollar bills, like what's an expense that I can get rid of. And so I got rid of that at that point in time. And it's funny because now Infusionsoft runs my agency. I mean, so it's sort of like, I'm not going to say I was smart and I was an early adopter. It was probably just sheer luck. Me looking at it and going, there's a better way to do what we do.
Right. Well, I think in the beginning, right, you're so focused on working in the business, right? You're operating the business. You're putting out fires nonstop. That taking time out, right? Position, taking a step back, just like what we were talking about a little earlier. Actually creating the system, because it's not like you can just plug it in and it just starts working. You've got to build it, right? And then once it's built, life is easy, right? Or easier. Like easier. I don't think life is ever easy, but what it does is create those efficiencies so that then you can focus on higher value transactions or higher value activities.
Yeah. And, I hear and I agree with the work on your business, not in your business. I agree with that wholeheartedly, but I think that a lot of I'm not going to say older. I'm one of those guys. I used to be the youngest guy in the room. Now I feel like I'm but I hear people like myself, and it's real easy for me to go, oh, you need to work on your business. Man, a lot of the young guys, they hear that and they lose track of the fact that you got to go sell something. So even to this day, my wife gets on me all the time. She's like, all you do is work. Because I'll go home, we'll eat dinner, put the kids to bed, and then I get on the laptop and start banging away because that's when I can work on my business type stuff.
Right.
It's like you got to work in your business during this 8 hours, and then this other 8 hours you get to work on your business until you get to the point where you can just pay people to do it.
Sure.
And again, great in theory, but again, I always caution, especially any of the younger guys listening to this, which I know you have a big audience there. I mean, go make money first.
Sure. Yeah. I think it is a fine line to explain, you need the goal or the ultimate outcome should be to be working on your business and then be able to take a step back, have other sources of income, because then you have those multiple income streams. But that's not today for somebody who's getting in. It's not tomorrow. It's 10 years from now. And you got to be willing to put in that work and do things that maybe you don't want to do, as you develop other businesses or a larger agency, other locations, like where you may be, is then you can look at those kind of things and take your foot off the gas from that perspective. Right.
Oh yeah.
You definitely have to grind unless you won the lottery and you're coming in and deciding to hire people and do it.
But it's funny. We had our 15-year anniversary this past August. And so I made some shirts. And I was like, okay, I'll put the logo on the front, but what am I going to put on the back? And I was asking my wife, I was like, what sounds better, hard work because it is, or work hard? Yeah. And so we ended up just running both of them, sort of,
hard
paired
work
them up because it's true. I mean, the work we do is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it is hard work, but the people who are successful are the ones who are willing to work hard. I mean, I'm an idiot. I mean, thanks to Ryan Hanley, I'm getting, hundreds of things in my inbox. I love Ryan. But I mean, there's nothing special about me. I'm just really, I'm willing to go out working. And that's, that's what I do.
Well, but the willingness to outwork is what creates the opportunities to then be more successful.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of us are rocket scientists, because that's why we're in the insurance world. But from that, and if you have the work, you can create the luck.
Oh yeah. There was an older gentleman when we first started the agency, and he was actually the first regular animal veterinarian in Greensboro, North Carolina. So this guy, Doc was like 80 when he died, like a couple of years ago. And he always told me, he said, you know what, man, an opportunity is not an opportunity unless you have the money or ability to capitalize on it. And it's so true. I mean, we can't, if you don't have the money, you got to be willing to do whatever else you can do to make it work. And, you know, that's, thankfully, my parents, my dad's an electrician, so I grew up in the construction business. I know what it means to put in a long freaking day. So, I mean, doing what I do, I mean, what am I going to complain about? My knee hurts because it's been bent from sitting. I mean, what kind of crap is that? So, yeah.
We just talked to an agent and he has a consulting side and all kinds of stuff. And I said, you must get hit up all the time about with agents asking, you know, how to do things. And he's like, yeah, I mean, and he does a lot of speaking events. He said like only like 2% of agents actually take the advice he gives and goes with it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you know, and I'm sure that if you ask like Austin Moorhead, he's been on here. Austin is a good friend, and we do kind of some automations together. But I mean, even before that, I would hit him up and, hey man, does this look okay? What do you think about this? Because he comes from a different background than I do. I mean, he's a dial-in for dollars guy. It's just a different mindset. And I'll be like, okay, well, what can I take and use there? And then I don't know if you guys know Chad Spade out in California.
Yeah.
So if not, this guy's,
I don't know him personally, but
yeah, brilliant. You need to get him on the show at some point in time. But I mean, same thing. I'll go and ask, and I'm willing for people to say no. But man, our community is just so giving now. You know, I mean, I think probably 3 or 4 years ago, everyone was like, "This is my secret," and if I tell you this, whatever. I mean, I'm actually, I think next week a guy hit me up who's literally 10 minutes down the road and was like, hey, can I come by and ask you some questions? Yeah. I mean,
sure.
we're not in competition with one another. So it's, you know, you're going to get what you get. I'm going to get what I get, and let's all be better. So
there's 300 million of us, and everybody needs to have our products.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I would almost say that there's two groups. There's half the agents that I've run into outside of, you know, this world are very secretive, and then the other half are very giving. And I'll tell you one thing: the ones that are very giving and share their stuff are the ones that are incredibly more successful.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a guy I know, and he's in North Carolina. We have a similar carrier. I respect the guy, and he's older than I am, but he's got his son-in-law coming into the business. Son-in-law wants to advance the technology, and Mark's just older and has been running the agency. You know, it's been in place for 80 years or whatever. And so he said, hey, can I bring Mark up and meet with you so we can kind of talk about how technology would work and play? And I said, bring him, man. I'm not, you know, like Nick Ayers is all digital. I think Hanley's going to be all digital. Then you've got the older crowd that's all, you've got to come into my office. I think I'm somewhere right in between. And I think maybe my place in this industry or this world that we're in right now is that I can see and speak both sides, you know, because I'm not trying to be 100% digital, but I'm definitely not trying to be 100% old school. It's kind of like I'm trying to marry the two, and I think that is going to work. I'm banking on it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat.
Yes.
And if you're comfortable with that hybrid of technology, then hey, that's awesome, right?
I would almost say outside of the insurance world in general, there's this unique group of this age bracket that is on that cusp of we didn't completely grow up with technology. The first few years there wasn't that much technology, and then that came, right? And then there's the group before that had no technology. But for us, we are kind of the hybrids where we've adapted maybe slower than, let's say, millennials or whatever, but we've adapted slower, but we're still with the old school. So we do have the unique ability to kind of put those two worlds together. And I think that's where the magic happens, because everybody gets frustrated, everybody, with technology.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to set with no technology.
Well, and I think for me, the way I like kind of the aha, the light bulb that went for me was when I first opened the agency, the question was, do I get an agency management system? Like, oh my gosh, or do I just keep these paper files? Real quick, you move there. Like literally after 2 months, it's like, I can't store all these papers, So at some point in time, there's a transition to where you look and say, there's a segment of the population that only ever will want to go and do online. They don't care about the value that you can bring. And honestly, and you guys can probably attest to this, people just like this. We complain as an industry about bastardizing, ourselves really. And it's all price. It's price. And you're like, I don't want to sell on price. But the way they sell is on price. So what I've thought about doing and what we've transitioned to is, if all you care about is the number, I can't really help you. Price matters, yes. But when I'm doing my presentations now, it's here are your options. Yeah, here's your apples to apples. But here's these other options. And here's why I think you might want to go with that. And really on a personal line side, it's real easy. I mean, it's a platinum, gold, silver, bronze. We're all used to seeing that when we're signing up for anything. Do you want the platinum package? So I would say, and I don't have a scientific on this, I need to, about 70% of the time, people are going to choose the upper package from what they have because I took the time to explain it. So we take technology. So you would sit across the desk from me and we would have this conversation. Well, then we went to the thing where I'm just going to email you the quotes. I'm going to email you, and all you're going to do is pull up and look at the price. Well, now that we can use, video proposals, and we can do all these things and set up all these wonderful things, we're getting back to the kitchen table, instead of just throwing a number out. So that's I'm hoping and banking that's how it's going to be, because I've got to show some value, because otherwise we're a widget.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, even like what we're doing right now, I mean, we just talked about this with somebody else, but it feels like we're in the same room. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we've went through some interesting times where it was like, okay, we have this new technology and we see that, okay, everything's going to be automated. Everything's going to be this in the future. But then now it's, as we've advanced more, now we're able to bring in some of the old feel and stuff like that. And that actually feels better. So it's like, okay, now it's going to be this hybrid. It's going to be more of this, I think in the insurance space, there's nothing more valuable than the trusted advisor. Like, you know what I mean? Like for you, to your point, being able to bring up multiple options, say, this is why I advise this. Now you're placing yourself as a valuable asset in that person's life, because you're going to dads give their kids advice. They don't tell them what to do. They don't just tell them one thing.
Sometimes we need to.
Yeah. I know, that's what I was just thinking.
Well, and to that end, I think with some of the older generation, when you start talking technology, they automatically take it right to the I'm only doing digital stuff. And people ask me, okay, well, you're using VAs and you're using technology. I'm like, take the fact that I have VAs out of the equation. The way I have the technology set up and built with Infusionsoft, unlike a lot probably that use it for its sales component and, following up on leads, mine is almost more process driven. So I'm driving endorsements and everything. I'm making it to where I could plop a butt in the seat and that person without much knowledge is told what to do. I'm just making the assembly line, if you will. Was it Dr. Billy Williams? It's your assembly line like a vehicle. Same thing. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I just choose to have VAs do the stuff that is low dollar value. I mean, do you really need your guy that you're paying $20, $30, $40 an hour making a change? I mean,
right.
That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. And folks will jump on the thing that may be easier just because they're busy, but we have to help as the leader allocate the resources and point them in the right direction. Right. And help them understand, because maybe the guy that's getting the $40 that isn't in my agency is,
no, it's not in my agency either. I didn't want to,
but the person who's making the most shouldn't be doing the activity that's the easiest to fill. Right. Yeah. And it's the same with any business. You know, but for whatever reason, sometimes we think ourselves out of that. And if we don't help direct the traffic on that, you know, somebody will take the payment before they pick up the phone to make another sales call. Right.
Well,
because I was busy taking payments. Well, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, and I've had this discussion, and it's tough because I agree. A lot of times it's just as easy for me to go and make that auto change. But what I wanted to get out of was, if you have staff of any, it doesn't matter, VA, regular, doesn't matter. Unless there's a process in place, it's not going to happen the same way every time. And for me, I think that we as consumers like the Amazon effect, that we know when we click this button, this is going to happen. And so now with our endorsement process, just for example, you know, yes, if he just goes and does it, it's fine. But if we have him enter it the way it's supposed to, it triggers an automation that talks to the customer that says, hey, we're working on this. We got your request. And why we did that was because someone would call in, hey, I need to change the car. Okay, we'll get it taken care of. A day later, you get the same call. Hey, did you get that? Did you take care of that? Did you actually get this? So now I've taken that phone call out of the equation because they're getting communicated with by email and text. Mm-hmm. And then when it gets finished, whether it's we finish it, a VA finishes it, they close the ticket, the person gets, you know, automatically, because kind of what we've done with the VA is they get an email and a text and say, hey, we're done with this. Oh, by the way, here's your auto ID card. Here's the premium. All the things that we normally get questions on, I try to build the automation to go, here, because I don't want the call anymore. And again, the experience is so much better. And when we don't do that, it's funny. Some of the people who make way too many changes in our agency, like clients, if one of our people does not follow the process, we'll get a call, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, guys, that's why you follow the process. That call never happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Well, we're up against the wall here, so I want to ask you one last thing. If you were to give one piece of advice to somebody jumping into the agency, let's take you back to 2004, but in today's world, that wants to open an agency or jump into this industry, what would you tell them?
Yeah, but wow, that's a loaded one right there. You know, one, it's a great decision. But if I was to look now at the success that we have, it's because I don't get bogged down into thinking that this is the only way to do this business. You can make money and be successful in insurance, but I think it's important to also look at other businesses, other industries, and see what's successful there and bring it in. I mean, we're all just business owners. We're all just trying to go out and get customers and retain customers. Yeah. We happen to sell insurance, and that's great. So yeah, I would, work hard and be open-minded. That's kind of where I would go with that.
Jack, that is so awesome. Thank you. You know what? And I would encourage people just to check out your website because it's really well done, and it puts a heavy emphasis on those Google reviews. And that's like the mantra of the day. Everybody we've talked to, it's Google reviews have come up. Yep. And they're critical.
I'll give you a tidbit here to end the show here. We started focusing on that. You know where we get the majority of our reviews from? Our endorsement process, because the last text that they get has a bit.ly link in there, and the wording is something like, hey, we finished your stuff. There's one more thing we need you to do. And it takes you right to a page that if you have a bad thing, it comes to me. And if it has a good thing, it goes to Google. But that is where it's at. So, wow. Hey, you guys do a great job. I think, you guys, Bradley and Scott, so good for our industry. It helps people like me think that I'm not crazy for having the thoughts, and it makes me willing to go and try and do more stuff. So keep up the good work, guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Jack. Really appreciate it. Just want to help. But and just give the website, give a shout to your website so they could check it out.
Oh yeah, it's allchoiceinsurance.com, ALLCHOICE, insurance is spelled out.com. And see, you guys are Allstate guys, right?
We're gonna have to beep.
Yeah, sorry. The name is stuck because back when I started, we were in the yellow pages, and I wanted to be above.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
some other company. Okay.
Genius.
There you go.
I love
All
it.
right, guys.
Perfect.
Hey,
Jack,
thanks so much.
Thanks,
We'll see you
guys.
down the road.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Jason, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up one of our sponsors, EverQuote.
Oh, tell me a little bit about them.
Well, I've been using them for a couple months, and I'll tell you that the results are delightful. It's been now a couple months, and over time, my cost per sale has dropped every single week.
That is awesome. Tell me, so you're on a specific program with them?
Yeah, it's called the Accelerated Growth Program, and this bad boy gets you a better deal on those leads, so way less expensive, and you get a consultant that's going to actually go over your results to make sure you're tracking properly.
And so you've been doing that for the last couple of months and consulting with them?
Yeah, and I see everybody complain about leads and this and that, and it's like, look, if you don't have a process to track and measure your results, then I can totally get it. You don't even know what your results are, right?
And you asked them to give all the insurance dudes and dudettes out there a killer deal on this, and they came through, didn't they?
They came through, and I know you're going to take advantage of it, but if they go to go.everquote.com/insurance dudes, that's go.everquote.com/insurance dudes, then guess what?
What?
Deal City.
I'm there.
Do it.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.